Good evening and welcome to another video. Right, so far, as private eye drivers, we want to know when we could actually go back to work. Now, this is a very important question. When do we actually go back to work? You probably heard today as well on the news that the government has extended its lockdown period for another 3 more weeks. And when he actually does release the lockdown, there'll be a slow process in that as well. Certain shops will be able to open first, certain working sectors will follow, followed by the industries. They will actually categorize the release of lockdown, according to how it should be done. But as for us private eye drivers, we are a different breed altogether. Although vast majority, I must emphasize, have obliged to the lockdown, there has been still few thousands who haven't, and that's putting everyone else at risk due to their, circumstances. Why? This is what I can't understand. Why would you work when the actual government is paying you 80% of your profit, for 3 months as well? But as usual, this trade poses the masterminds of excuses. We have drivers who have loads of excuses to give you when you ask them that question, why are you working? They'll come out with things like, we're helping the NHS staff go to work. Really? I have bills to pay. Yes, so does everyone else. But something, I do get all that. Everyone is different in their own financial obligations. But my point is that everyone also, at the same time, brings in the same pain to the families if something was to happen to you. Now, I've been quite stubborn with my views to why you shouldn't work during this pandemic. And I thought, I'm going to address a video to tell you guys when I think I might be going back to work. Now, this is quite important for you to understand this. It's my own opinion. It's not a recommendation. It's not a suggestion. It's my opinion. And, this is not a go ahead of any sort. Now, I thought seriously about this, going back to work. And I also suppose, the last word probably will, still, be down to your partner or your wife. They'll probably give you the last go ahead anyway. Right. But this virus, it's not going to go away miraculously, vanish overnight. You're going to, we're going to wait a while for this to actually disappear. We're not going to wake up one day and find it, suddenly vanish. And I suppose the main thing we're looking for is a vaccine. And now that vaccine itself is, over a year away. So that could be quite a long period to wait. Now, what I'm going to do is base my opinion and my analysis on this chart or the graph you could actually see on front of you. There is no medical evidence to my support for my desire when to actually start work. Now, if you're watching the news, all press conferences are solely based on this curve, which they say needs to be flattened. Now, I'm quite fond of our British government. They use a phrase there: "We are guided by science." Now, what that basically means is that if it all goes tits up, it's the science that's got it wrong and not the government. Now, you can also see here, which is a sad thing really, which is a death chart. I think this is 1 day old actually, but it doesn't matter. The count is circulating around I would say 800 to 900 per day. That's how many deaths are happening. Now, I'm saying this on the assumption that the government hasn't lifted the lockdown and we drivers want to start work relatively in a safe environment. So what I would say is, if we can flatten the curve or reduce the death rate to say about 500 a day, I think it might be worth taking a chance. So the magic figure I'm looking for is 500. Anything under 500, not 502, he has to be under 500. And I think, you know what, I might really seriously consider this. Now, please understand, this is not my recommendation, but solely my opinion. Bear in mind, we have, you know, come a long way with this, and we just don't want to spoil it right now. And you know, if the government still is saying, look, we're on a lockdown, then please obey them. Uber has promised its drivers face masks and hand sanitizers. What a shambles that's turning out to be. Well, final point really. This whole industry will take a turn, you know, for good or bad, you know, still remains to be seen. Drivers who are feeling this the most are drivers who have been fooled by taking on debt and living off debt. And you're not to blame. The whole structure from government to big organization is for you to be in debt. You know, you look at the electric car scenario right now, is driven to put you in debt. You are having to take on debt, as in you're needing to purchase a car, which is, you know, £40,000 plus. Not many of us have got that handy. Then you have big organizations, the likes of Uber, who will not let you on their platform, you know, if you wasn't to have that certain car. So everything is designed to take money away from your pocket and put you in debt. And that's the reason we are actually where we are. You know, and it doesn't stop there. You know, you could have you got to feel sorry for your kids, really. You know, someone who's going to university, you know, and he wants to do his masters, you know, that will set them back around £40,000. You know, they'll have a phone contract, which is probably costing them £30 a month. They'll probably have a Netflix or whatever it is these days. You know, that's probably cost them around £10 a month. Yeah, and then they will probably want to buy a car, but you know, they don't just buy a car. They go on these schemes where it comes with insurance and a black box and everything's included, you know, to tempt them. And that's going to cost them another £300 a month. But what I'm trying to say is, just look at them. It's all debt they live on. Anyway, what I'll do is finish the video for now, and I'll speak to you guys very soon. Bye bye now.